So Cole, how does it feel to be an NPC in Skyrim?
Wonderful day we're having.
And if I was to shove this lav closer to your mouth, would you eat it? Welcome to GodotCon Boston 2025. Plenty of sponsors, plenty of people. Let's see how it goes.
Oh. Hi, I'm Eric. Our game that we're showing off today is Diddo. It's an action RTS, kind of in the same vein as Pikmin, and it's unique in the sense that it has online co-op, up to 5 players, and the whole game is physics-based. And we created a game that's really chaotic. It's really fun with friends. And I just finished eating a sandwich. We've spent thousands of hours refining this to be a multiplayer experience, and it's co-op first, co-op PvE, and we're really proud of it.
Right on, good stuff. And if you had to give your game a human name, what would it be?
Johnny Onions, because it's
Johnny Onions. That's awesome.
Dark Matey. And it has
Nice.
This game is in need of funding. If you're a publisher or know anyone who is a publisher, you can contact us. We're at GodotCon. That's our blue sky. And we are going to be releasing a demo this coming Steam Next Fest.
And please take us through it.
Yeah, so Turnup Boy Steals the Mail. It's a spin-off game from the original Turnup Boy series. Turnup Boy commits tax evasion, Turnup Boy robs a bank. It takes place a day before Turnup Boy commits tax evasion, so all your favorite characters are still alive. We're just making it a free game on Steam, and we might port it to a few things if we can, but it's just something that we're doing for fun, and we wanted to try out Godot. Yeah, so I'm the owner of Snoozy Kazoo. I also am the producer, and I'm the programmer on this game specifically. We have another game, Hobnobbers, that we're working on that I'm kind of just a director on. I help produce it, run the team, but this is kind of my little project. We're an employee-focused company, so we entirely focus on getting healthcare, making sure people have the help they need to actually be able to develop these games, and that's what we care about first.
If you were to give your game a human name, what would that name be?
First thing that jumped to my mind is Fred, and then he would prefer to go by Turnup Boy because his name kind of sucks.
Like a Fred or a Greg?
Yeah, no offense to the Freds out there, but make sure you're in a good place before you go too deep. I started a game studio before I was kind of mentally together, and it was a very rocky start. So I would recommend if you have ambition, sure, go for it, but make sure you're taking care of yourself and your team.
Next game here, it's Dantes IX, is that right?
Yes, it is. It's like a deck builder action platformer roguelite. So it's kind of like Dead Cells, who's mixed with Slay the Spire. I like the deck builder. I just don't really like this. It's a little bit slow for my kind of taste, so I kind of wanted to make something a little bit more fast-paced. I've done this pretty much all solo. I've gotten a little bit of programming help from a few people that are a little bit more experienced. I'm primarily an artist, so it looks really nice. It doesn't look very nice under the hood, but it works, so.
If you were going to give your game a human name, what would it be?
Maybe George. I don't know.
I like George, that's nice, it's very approachable.
Game dev is very much a learning experience and just kind of messing around with how it works.
That's awesome.
All right, I'm Josh. This is my game Neon Garten. It's a cyberpunk city builder. The idea is you are taking blocks of buildings and stacking them on top of each other. If you put the right buildings next to each other, you make more money. I've always liked cyberpunk as a theme, as an aesthetic too, just the neon-drenched kind of color scheme and the theme that you could play around with that. There's a lot of kind of black humor in this game, it does look a little cozy, but there are things like organ harvesters.
If you had to give your game a human name, what would that name be?
I'll call my game Connor, I suppose. Game making is amazing. We are creating things from our thoughts. We are putting them into code, and people come around and enjoy them. That's a rare gift that we're able to do that, and never give up the dream.
Here we go with a totally normal developer. This is for the game Burrito Bear, is that correct?
Yes! The game is about a bear who eats burritos and tries not to fart. It tries to tell the story of where the burritos are coming from, but then forgets about it halfway through, and then Bear ends up just making a new friend, and it's all good. Then there's an arcade mode, which you just try to get the world's highest score, and the current world's highest score is something absurd I'll never be able to reach. Then there's an endless mode, and that's it. I don't know, it's just a big conglomerate mass of stuff that makes me happy, and that's what happened. My team is me. I think I worked on everything except the music. I contracted a really cool musician to do that, and then I had some help from a couple friends doing more like technical stuff. I had beautiful support of all these people around me who allowed me to eat food and breathe and not have mental health breakdowns halfway through, being like, oh, what am I doing?
If you had to give your game a human name, what would that name be?
Bert. Bert.
That's awesome. I love that.
Do it because it's fun. And enjoy it. Don't worry about timing or pressure or what it should be. Just have fun.
As I was saying earlier, this is a game meant for me. I, too, run around underwater trying to eat as many burritos as I can at all times.
So today we're showing off Dunderbeck. It is our frantic inventory management auto battler, where you grind magical creatures into sausages in the mystical land of Cincinnati, Ohio, where you can explore mostly Cincinnati's sewers and eat some questionable stuff. So yeah, we're planning on releasing a demo probably in the next month or so. Rust Limited is a team of 4 people. We're most known for a VR sandbox game called Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. This project is primarily myself. I've done the art and the coding. I haven't done the music. It's the one hat I don't wear. We recently, were like, hey, what's Godot up to? And since working on this project, I feel like I cannot come back to Unity for most projects. So it's been an absolute joy. The community here has been awesome.
If you were to give your game a human name, what would that name be?
Jurgis. Jurgis would be the name for my game.
That is so fitting. Oh my god, that's perfect.
We get so few opportunities to be able to tell our story and to be able to build a world that I feel like if you have a story that you want to put out there, you can't really beat the game development approach to doing so.
Also, I love your button, the ask me about a big horrible mouth.
My name is Meixsell. I'm a game designer and developer. This you're looking at is Sweet Spot. It's an interactive sculpture, and everything right now is being rendered in Godot. And the final frame is by a spout, taking the final frame and sending it to an LED controller, which then takes the pre-configured pixel mapping and puts it on the mannequin. Yep. Visitors are able to basically control the display on the figure by placing these objects here, as so. If I place the object here, you can see that now the figure is looking at the object. But this is us basically imposing our will on the mannequin. Particularly about urban black youth and how oftentimes in media what's advertised is basketball and music, or particularly being a rapper, and I just think that it dilutes and makes a really disproportionate amount of kids that aspire to be basketball players and rappers, even though they don't make that much money, if you actually do the data, right? It was made for kids, and I was also thinking about myself and how my own influence, growing up, interested in games, and becoming a professional game designer, but also recognizing, and I was a little bit brainwashed too, and how, that journey was harder than I think it should have been.
If you had to give this a human name, what would that name be?
This is about me, Michael. Yeah. I think that there is a value in bespoke hardware like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's very tactile. That's what I think. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for walking us through your concept and just a really unique piece.
Hi, my name is Joseph, or Practical NPC Online. I'm currently working on a precision platformer called Memori. It's been in development for 4 years now, 4.5 years now. We had a successful Kickstarter at 16K. That's done really well for the project. I managed the entire project, the level design, the programming, the story, that whole thing. But I do commission the music and some of the some of the player animations as well as like buying assets from like itch.io, asset stores, stuff like that, and then git bashing it all together.
If you were to give your game a human name, what would that name be?
Oh my goodness, that's an interesting question. Yeah, I guess I'd call the game Jacob. Kind of like, I mean, it's my baby, so like, yeah, I guess giving it a human name or like something that I would probably give a child, something similar to that would be the name I gave it. If you're just starting and you're comparing yourself to like, these 4 or 5 year projects, like mine included, and it's like, dang, how am I ever going to compare to it? It's really, again, like whenever someone asks me like, hey, how'd you make this game? It's like, it's literally just a product of time. I guess that's one thing you constantly have to remind yourself as a dev, especially when you're seeing things on the internet. It's like, just know that, it doesn't happen. Rome wasn't built in a day, like that sort of thing. It's like, you gotta really spend some time on it.
Here we are, GodotCon 2025, woo, with someone who is my brother. Sam, would you like to introduce yourself and the team in the game?
Hell yeah, we're making Turntide Tales. So I'm Sam, I'm the main developer. That's Jack, right behind the camera. Hey. There he is. He's working on the story and the narrative direction. We have Cole around the corner. He is working on level design. We also have some other contributors who unfortunately can't be here with us today. But we have our artist, who is currently living in Mongolia.
Tell us a little bit about the game.
Yeah, I mean, it is a hybrid tactics, battle game mixed in with exploration and open world mechanics too. So here's the exploration. I'm walking around the world, nice and open. Come across the battle, hit X, and now we have loaded up the battle scene. So I can go ahead, I'm now in the setup phase of my battle, I can go ahead and spawn my unit. So in this battle I only have Moss on my team. You can see 40 health, 9 stamina. I'm going to go ahead and start the battle. And now we're actually playing the battle itself.
Tell me, why pirates?
Well, the pirate theme is awesome.
That's a great answer.
There are a lot of characteristics of pirates that give it interesting character and opportunities that you don't get with other themes. We can do tons of cool, interesting island designs. We can have cool ships, cool characters. Pirate captains of all kinds.
If you had to give this game a human name, what would that name be?
I would say that because there is one most central main character of the game, his name is Moss. I'm going to say that would be this game's name as well, Moss. Make sure you're making something that you actually want to make. Make something that you would enjoy playing. Make something that you're passionate about, because if you're just following game development to make money, then you're in the wrong career.
Goodbye for now.
Hey, I'm Ava. I'm also known as Exod Online. My game over here is an escape room game about being stuck on a space station orbiting a black hole, and you're trying to figure out what happened to the crew, how to get off the station, and that kind of thing. It's just me and an artist. I have a friend who lives in Canada who does the 3D art for the game. That's it. It's just the two of us. I was thinking about Flash games that I used to play when I was younger. There were a lot of hidden object escape room games back then, and I haven't really seen a whole lot of those kinds of games recently. Those games do exist, but a lot of them tend to be asset flips or targeted towards a really casual audience, and I wanted to bring back those types of games that are more serious and have more of an atmosphere and more immersive. When I make games, I really want to have an emotional connection with the person who's playing the game. So the game that I made has a lot of themes about loneliness and how that feels.
If you were to give your game a human name, what would that name be?
A human name?
Yeah.
What's the name of the guy who always needs to get saved in all of his movies? Yeah, Matt Damon. We have to save Matt Damon, basically. A lot of people don't realize how accessible game development is. So I used to be president of the Game Developers Society at UT Austin back in Texas. And people would say, but I've never made a game before. I don't know what I'm doing. I've literally never written a line of code, or I've never made a game before. I can't do a game jam. I need to have actual skills before I can do something like that. And we would always have to tell everyone, no, you can just do it. That's something I feel like a lot of people don't realize when they're trying to get into something, is that oftentimes the goal is, it is far away, but it is more approachable than you might expect.
We took a dough and we adjusted it to work on the iPad, and it was a universe of small problems. And the idea was to make a dough comfortable for touch input, but also it's a very small display. If you walk around here, you'll see that everybody has these massive displays. Well, there's a bunch of things that are just more comfortable to do with your fingers, right? So, artists that tend to do a lot of drawing, it's a lot nicer to do that, use a pencil, for example, than use a mouse. So there's a bunch of things that we did in the user interface, like panning and rotating and pinching and zooming and all those things. They're just very convenient to do. My kids love to play video games. They love to design games. Up until now, my son was very much into Roblox Studio, but on the desktop, right? So we'll see. We'll see if he makes a transition.
If you were to give this project a human name, what would that name be? What vibe does it give?
I am not good at this. I don't watch a lot of TV. Oh, it's such a lie. Oh, what a lie. What a lie. I was going to say Archibald, but Archibald is the exact opposite of what I want to go for. But it's the only name I can come up with.
Archie? Is that kind of...
No. It's a good question. I'm not going to answer that. I can't answer that.
Totally fair. He's nameless, but that's good. Nameless because it's for everyone.
We do have an axolotl mascot, so we're gonna have to find a name for the mascot at some point. I've done a couple of projects that were beyond my the scope that you could feel it was gonna be done, and they were very fulfilling. But I also regretted the process for years. And I think that what was nice about this one is that it felt like we could ship at any point. And so it felt like there was something tangible from the beginning. I think it helped because we kept tricking ourselves into we can ship at any point, but it was clear at some point that we needed to give time for the software to mature and the feedback to come in and for us to fix it. Well, hopefully you'll take it for a spin and you'll submit some feedback and hopefully you'll enjoy your iPad more than you did before.
I'm Rodrigo. I'm the head of marketing at Endless OS Foundation or Endless Access. So we are a nonprofit organization. Everything that we do is about education. We want learners to be prepared for the future. So game making is a powerhouse for learning. Everyone who's here loves video games. Last year we released block coding for Godot. It's just an approximation for non-coders to Godot, so they feel familiar, and then once that they kind of poke a little bit here and there, then start to learn more and more about Godot. And the last one that right now we are kind of showing here is Threadbare, which is a game that we kind of, as part of the programs and pilots that we were running, we were trying to come up with a game that would allow us to not just show and be engaging, but also that it would allow us to let students actually produce something that's out in the world. Because I think a real contribution, and I think that's part of the open source philosophy, is you are contributing to something that's helping others or engaging. So that's what we are showcasing here. The organization has been around for more than 12 years. So we started with technology access. So many years ago, the first idea was why don't we use the processor of a phone to provide computers, the computer experience for people that cannot access a computer. The organization developed an operating system that's open source, it's totally free, focused on first-time users, and then we put software, open source software in it, so people also can save there. from there, we also understood that technology is an enabler, but in the end, it's like the skills that you're required to be prepared for what's happening in the world is what actually matters too. We're working in South Africa, South America, Mexico, etc. Like there are many regions where like education still like has to like change a lot in order to be able to be at that level. So part of the work that we are doing is bringing what we can to those regions. So like gamification and game-based learning, just the passion around education.
If you had to give your project or your game a human name, what would that name be?
Oh, that's a tough one. Matt.
I love it. I love it. That's fantastic.
I think we talk about going from consumer to creator, and I think that would be the big part of what I would love everyone to take with you is motivating others, contributing is like collaborating. Like I think that. I think moving from passive consumer to active creator and contributing to the world, I think that's. I wish everyone could, adopt their philosophy and take it and do something with it in every aspect of our lives.
Well, that about does it for the incredible showcases here at GodotCon 2025. Really just an incredible time with a lot of wonderful creative souls here. Please remember to support the game makers in your life and make sure to feed them. They're all very hungry, I can confirm. And make sure to check out Godot online. When I say this is the tip of the iceberg, believe me, it is. There are many, many talks that are recorded, many different projects going on, a lot of focus on inclusivity and innovation, which is just a lovely, lovely thing. There's links in the bio below, and please feel free to keep tagging along with us here. Thanks so much for watching.